Hello, hello, test, test. Okay. Hello, Amanda. This is Joel, obviously. I've been looking at your scene. Fix that. And I've been noticing a few things are a little bit off with it. Um, First, when you do a batch render, and I ask for render settings, these are render settings. Uh, which they look fine when I looked at them. Uh, I would give it a little bit more padding, like 2 or 3. Actually, I would give 4, just in case. Padding helps, frame padding helps it render a little bit better. And when you hit higher numbers, it doesn't struggle to show you what you're looking for. Um, I would use name.number.extension. TIFF is fine. You don't have to worry about changing that to anything. I'll set this back to 144 for you. And as far as the render settings go, that's fine. When I asked you to make sure everything was combined, I didn't mean the entire grill. That can lead to a couple of issues. So I'm going to try and mess with this just to show you what I would do and what I feel would improve your actual overall scene. So right now this is one object. We hold shift right click, you get the object options, and what you're going to do is go to separate. That's going to separate a lot of them. So I'm going to select, oh man, there's a lot of them. Select this one, and hopefully I can find a good middle ground of where everything is. Okay, I selected way too many. So, clear, clear, clear. I'm trying to select just the charcoal and combine them. I'm sorry. Because right now the biggest issue is you need something for the fluid to emit from, and if it's emitting from the entire grill, that's going to be an issue. In a fire, like a grill, you barbecued before most likely, you would make it so that it only emits from the charcoal, just because that's the fuel source. Oh, wrong button. Making it emit from anywhere else is going to be a problem. Come on. There we go. No, not the container. Not the container. And if you have it all as one piece, when you turn on the auto resize, which I'm going to turn on in a little bit, it makes it look weird. You know what? I'm going to go to the fluid container really quickly. I'm just going to turn that off. I'm going to hit Control H. In fact, I'm going to select this, hit Control H. I'm going to select these, hit Control H, and I'm going to select these guys, and hit Control H, M2, Control H. So this way I have just the charcoal. I'm going to select it all, not you. Hit Control and select in order to deselect something specifically. And then now that I have this all selected, I'm going to hit Shift, right click, hold it, scroll down and find Combine, and combine those all into one mesh. and labeling will save a life. So switch this to charcoal and name it charcoal. Okay. And now, just to speed up the whole process of unhiding everything, I'm going to select these, hit Shift H, so it unhides everything that was hidden before. And now, if I go from this angle, sorry, 2015 has that weird issue, and select like this, Control and select the ground because I accidentally selected that. Go all the way to the bottom and Control select the charcoal. Oh. And Shift select the charcoal. Oh, nope. Should be Control select that. There we go. It's Command select so that it deselected the charcoal but kept everything else. Now everything that's supposed to be part of the grill is one piece. You're going to go again, Shift, Combine, Grill. And now your grill and your charcoal are separate pieces. Now that these guys are separate pieces, I'm going to return on, what's this? It's bad. I don't know what that other piece is, but whatever. Now that the grill is separate, what I'm going to do is unhide the fluid container. Select the, go to the bottom, I'll close this or minimize this. Select the fluid container, Shift select or Control select the, Shift select or Command select the charcoal so that you have both of them selected. And then what you're going to do is go up to the Dynamics page, Fluid Effects, Emit from Object. So now if I restart this, another thing, these settings control density, heat, and fuel emission. So right now it's at 1. I would raise it to about, for your scene, I would raise it to about, let's say 8. Then raise this one to 8. And since you're working with a charcoal fire, you're going to need gas to start that off. So I'm going to raise this to about a good 14. And that should be good. What else you're going to need to do is go to your fluid shape and turn on auto resize. Now, auto resize, we're going to raise the margin just to 1. And let's raise the resize threshold to about 0.03. I changed your substeps to 4. Substeps help the fluid simulation, or if you're working with encloth simulation, to actually simulate in between frames. This allows it to give it a smoother look. It looks less jittery. It looks less fake, and it will actually look like a fluid. These settings are fine. These settings are fine. Let me go down. Content details. I'm going to open up your fire. Based on the fact that those shouldn't be affecting anything and those are your settings, I'm going to leave those alone. These are your settings and I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to restart. I'm going to hit play. See what happens. And now I can see your fire starting to simulate based off of your charcoal. It's going to take a few seconds more, but they will actually grow and calculate based on the size of the flame, as opposed to trying to calculate based on what the fire will allow. This may make your fire a bit more dense, I will say, because I raised the calculations a bit. So if this is not how you want your fire to actually look, I can understand that. Also, something I see is happening right now. Hit escape. If you can see from this, the fire is not responding to the grill at all. That's a bit of an issue. So what we can do is select the grill, select the fluid container, restart first off. Then what you're going to want to do is go up to fluids, make collide. No, I don't want to save right now. Make collide and just apply. So now when it recalculates, while this will give your fluids a lot more to calculate, they should respond a lot better, and they should actually be able to interact with the grill the way a real fire would. Fire just doesn't phase through everything. You're not dumb, you understand this. Just trying to explain to you. It gives it a much more realistic feeling, and it gives it a much more realistic look. And when you're working with fluid effects, you have to account for a lot of little things in order to get it to look right. Otherwise, it's always going to feel off, or it's always going to feel a bit weird. I don't know what your reference is, but typically for grill fire, they're very flickery. They're very bright. They should not be as thick as this is, but it's whatever. Right now you'll see that the fire is trying to actually fit around the grill. That's good. Slowing down the calculation just by a little bit, but for the most part it looks the way it's supposed to, in terms of how it interacts. In terms of the fire, again, I don't know what your reference is, but there should be a lot more peaks. I'm not sure how high your fire will be, but so far, as far as coloration goes and everything else, it looks pretty good. You're definitely doing a pretty good job. Minor tweaks here and there, but still very well done. Let me see. I'm going to let it play a little bit longer, and then I'm going to stop it at one point. Okay, let me stop it here. Come on, Maya. Don't do this. Just stop. Just stop. Stop. Okay. Okay. So right now, yeah, fire is very wispy and bubbly, but that shouldn't be too bad. It's easily fixable. Just gonna render, see what it looks like. Let me escape from this render, just to make sure I'm doing this right. Yes, render from perspective. And what I'm going to be looking for is transparency, brightness where it needs to be, edge crispness, and all other sorts of features like that. As far as the charcoal, it's going to look like it's emitting from the source it needs to be, which is good. There is a way to have it so that it will resize as if it's spreading throughout the charcoal. I don't think you want that, but if that is something you want, I can explain that in a different video. Another feature that you want is, okay, So I'm already looking at this. This is somewhat not what you want. I can explain that in a different video if you want me to, but for now I think we need to address the issue of this fire. From what I can see already, the fire is coming off way too blobby and thick. I understand the fire in a reference might look that way, but what was really going to sell that solid look is not going to be actually a solid opacity in the render. The trick to getting the fire to look a certain way and feel a certain way is actually, oh, you have chrome on here, that's why it's taking so long. Look at you, master of materials. What's actually going to help get the look that you're looking for is glow intensity. Glow intensity is just like the glow node from like 3DF, and I don't know what other class you might have used glow. The glow intensity is going to be able to fill out the fire with the light as opposed to filling it in with color. So instead of having mystical orange juice levitate out of the grill, you'll actually have something that feels and glows and somewhat looks a lot more like fire. The peaks are a little bit too well rounded. It looks like a very bright orange smoke. I'm not trying to bring you down or make you feel crappy. Sorry if I am. But what you would look for more is a bit of a... Well, let me just stop it here and show you what I mean. Okay, so right now you just wanted to render. I'll let you render it how you wish. Right now I'm just going overboard and explaining certain things. Sorry. I know I'm being a pain in the butt. What I would do is go to your fluid container, and you see how your opacity is set to this. The opacity is actually set up based on voxel space and based on numerical values. When you go up to your display where it says particles, you can turn those off. And when it says numerical display, you can turn on the density for that. And what you'll see are little tiny numbers and values. And those numbers and values tell you where the fire is actually being positioned numerically. So if I turn this off, because it's making my computer breathe heavy. And if I know where those values are specifically, I can go in here, which also maps out those values, and I can add certain maps. So say I want to take this down a bit, give it more of a pointy and wispy look. Take those down, take this down. Already starting to look a bit more like the fire you would want. So you did pretty good. See how it has that inconsistent look and that broken sort of feel to it. It actually feels like a wispy fluid or fire. Let me take this all the way down. Let me take it all the way up. Let me put it back where it was, because that's where it should be. Okay. So when you render it like this, what you're going to be viewing is the fire now takes on a much more hollowed and not phantom-like, but you understand what I'm saying. It looks more like fire. It looks like a torch fire, it looks like a grill fire, it looks like a more airy, gasoline-based fire. And that's the look that you would want to go for, because that's the look that would most likely be on a grill. Even though they are burning from charcoal, they would start off very gaseous, and flow very gaseous because you still pour lighter fluid on it. These renders are taking forever. As far as the fluids moving the way they are, should be fine. I haven't really seen the render version of the way it moves yet, but if I did a quick play blast, it looks like it moves fast enough and it rises fast enough, and you should be good. This render's taking a really long time. That chrome. Either way, as far as the quality, the render quality of your fire should be, Joe is looking for realistic. They are looking for realistic. You don't have to go super realistic, but it helps. Oh, see, starting to get little glimpses of it. Little views of the grill and stuff. But when you look at it, you'll see those really nice visible creases and visible edges that will make it look a lot like fire. And all I did was create peaks out of your already heightened areas. So all you have to do as far as Maya fire is truly define where you want it thick and where you want it transparent. And typically those are done with peaks, not so much hills. What you had before was a flat line, then a hill that slowly descended. While that's very good, what you're going to really want to look for and use will be those nice even peaks, because this looks a lot more broken apart necessarily. Not broken apart, but gaseous. And it's going to sell the look of fire a lot more, especially when they're on the grill and they're on the charcoal and they're fighting through the grill. It's going to look really, really nice. Just going to let this render. Sorry it's taking so long. Also, not necessarily because the render is taking a long time or the play blast is taking a long time, the batch render will take that long. Your batch render is somewhat separate because it's taking everything and making it 2D. Surprisingly enough, I've had situations where my play blasts and my regular renders would take like 12 minutes, or sometimes my play blasts would take an hour, which is ridiculous, but my renders for each frame that I was normally doing as one, my actual renders would be like 5 minutes, which is awesome, and I hope that would actually be a good thing for you. But as you can see, the fire looks a lot more fiery, still a little bit blobby. To get more peaks out of your blobs, I would just lower the peaks inside of your opacity. Your opacity is key to making fire look like fire. It's something that I wasn't really thoroughly explained necessarily. It's something I kind of just figured out after playing with it for a long, long time. And what you're going to really like the way it looks in the end, because it's going to give off a much more fiery look. Let me just escape this because I'm getting bored. No, I don't want to save. Why would you ever ask me that? Okay. And yeah, just those little tiny hills. Little beaver teeth. And what I was talking about with glow is this right here. Your glow intensity is set to about 0.01. Set that to about 0.06, maybe. Let's zoom out so there's less to calculate. And let me just select, let me go to the hypershade just to speed up the render a little bit. Hypershade. Shouldn't have too much in there. Yeah, got a media material set to chrome in here. Let's just lower the reflectivity on that. Just for the sake of this render, you can have it the same as you have it now. I'm just doing this so that it doesn't take up a crap ton of time for me to show you what I'm trying to show you. It should be far enough back. Hit this to see how far back I am. Yeah, that should be far enough back so that it can give a nice general render. And I'm gonna hit, I forgot what this button is. Red line render, because I'm not very well versed in the render names. But as you can see, it's rendering a lot faster. I get to see the fire a lot faster. And what you're going to start to notice when it's finally done rendering, did I speak too soon? Oh, no, never mind, still going. Is that as you render this, you're going to see more and more things about the fire that actually are going really good. And you're going to notice that when the light and glow turns on, it'll fill in the fire where you need it to without taking up as much calculation time or without looking fake. Glow takes up like 3 seconds, like 0.3 seconds of render. Also, that chrome is going to make your render time very long. It'll look good though, so can't say much about that. I believe in your project. And once this is done rendering, I think I'm just going to be quiet till it's done rendering. Save you some ear space. Really hear my computer cooking. You should definitely skip this part in the video. Just throwing that out there. I had my phone to save me from this. Don't don't sit through this part. I'm sorry I took this long to tell you that, but yeah, my bad. Yep, sorry about that. Okay. If this is more what you're going for, it should be good. But personally, fires glow a little bit brighter than that from just grill-based fires. And the lights you have in your scene, they're probably gonna glow a little bit more just because it's in a darker area. So I'm gonna raise it to about 145, and we're gonna sit through this one more time. In fact, I'm just gonna render this and send you that render. Yeah, this video is about done. Okay. How do I stop this?